name is Rob Rapiti. I'm the president of the Mastermind Agency. We are a marketing firm based out of the beautiful wine region in Niagara, Ontario, and we handle everything, almost everything related to digital marketing. Myself personally, I'm a fractional CMO, that's Chief Marketing Officer. I have a variety of customers where I manage, strategize, and plan all of their marketing. I'm also a digital marketing consultant with an expertise in content strategy and planning, and specialties in SEO, social media, and sales funnel and digital transformation of small to medium-sized enterprises. And I have been working in marketing for more than 20 years. I launched my first website in 1997 and have been doing digital marketing ever since then. Well, I'm glad you asked. You know, the best way to describe content or content strategy is purposeful content creation. Now, a content strategy involves the planning and creating of content with a very specific purpose and audience in mind. The aim is to align the content with your business objectives, such as increasing brand awareness, driving traffic, generating leads, things like that. Now, as part of your content strategy, you need to have what I call structured planning. Now, that encompasses the development of a structured plan that outlines content, its objectives, your target audience, what types of formats you're going to use, and how you're going to distribute the content to your prospective clients and users. Now, that is all tied together with what we call content calendar, as many of our listeners are probably aware. Now, this is a very strategic approach that ensures your content efforts are effective and optimized. Now, once you have a strategy and you execute it, that's not the end. You have to continually optimize, because content strategy is not a one-time task. It requires ongoing analysis and optimization. A lot of the clients I work with, we will go back and re-optimize a lot of their content a year, 2 years down the road. Marketers have to monitor content performance. They gather insights, they make adjustments and improve engagement, ensure that the content is still relevant. And again, business goals change. So your business objectives may change, so you may have to make some adjustments to your content strategy. Now, what's really important is analytics monitoring, because you want to know, just because you have a content strategy, it's not like a magic pill. It's constantly refining and knowing who is going to your website and what their details are. You know, if you were a store owner, would you want to get to know the people who come to your shop? It's the same thing when it comes to your website. If you don't know who your web traffic is, then you will be left behind. So you want to know things like, for example, which sites are referring your landing pages or your website from them. For example, you know, you might be getting all of a sudden a lot of traffic from Instagram. Well, this is the kind of information you want to know, because you want to make data-driven decisions. If all of a sudden most of your visitors are coming from Instagram, well, you probably want to perhaps invest a little bit in lead conversion and advertising in Instagram. And again, this is all through essentially Google Analytics Monitor, which is now their new G4, as what they call it. And this is going to tell you how many times you've appeared in Google searches, what the demographics of the people going to your website are, the session times, which means how long they're spending on your site, the bounce rate, which means are they coming on and then leaving really quickly. That will give you indications as to what you need to do to keep them on the site. And then, like I said, demographics. You'll find out which countries, which cities most of the traffic is coming from. So the first thing you want to know is, who is your target audience? Without knowing who your target audience is, you know, we've all heard the old adage, you open the doors and they will come. And we all know that never really works, right? Just because you open your doors. So I like to give the example of a bakery with an online store, because most people can relate to that. I work with a lot of tech companies. I handle their content and their strategy, amongst other things. But if you have, for example, a bakery with an online store that combines both your digital marketing / tech with brick and mortar. So what you want to do first and foremost is you need to build out your buyer personas. So what is a buyer persona? Every company should have a detailed target audience, and oftentimes there's more than one type of buyer. So you want to identify all the different types of buyers. What are their demographics? What are their behaviors? What are their needs? And you want to pick, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on the type of business you have. So if we're talking about a bakery with an online store, for example, there's a variety of potential personas you want. Like, let's take, for example, what I call the occasional treat seeker. Now, this could be any age group. It could be occasional visitors or someone maybe who likes to come once a week. And that falls under behaviors. So they visit the bakery maybe for special occasions, for celebrations, or as I said, maybe they treat themselves once a week. What are their needs? Well, they're looking for fresh and indulgent baked goods, cakes, birthdays, events, and things like that. Another potential buyer persona is what I call the daily bread shopper. These are a lot of local people, various age groups. Their behaviors include regular visits for fresh bread, pastries, and breakfast items. What are their needs? High quality, freshly baked breads and morning snacks, as an example. And, I could go on and on about a variety of different buyer personas, right? You have the health conscious consumer. They'll want something that's a little bit more healthy, maybe gluten-free, low sugar options, and whole grains. And you have, for example, the coffee shop or the live event planner, who are more commercial clients for you, and they're looking for high quality for their own business, right? So these are all the different types of buyers that we have and what we call buyer personas. And by creating detailed buyer persona, a bakery or any business can tailor its marketing efforts and product offerings and give them the right customer experience to better meet the needs and the preferences of these different customer segments. So now that you know who your potential customers are, you can develop your content and SEO strategy. So it all starts with the keywords that you want to rank for, ranking on Google. So we create these things called content pillars, right? So if you, when I say the word pillar, just replace it, if you're not familiar with content, replace it with the word topic, right? And below that, so we have our content pillar. So for a bakery, the main pillar is baked goods, bakery, right? Underneath that, we have a whole set of what we call sub-pillars, right? And this could be a section for cookies or baked goods, a section for commercial. It could be a section for healthy foods and baked goods. It's up to the business owner to determine who their target audience is. Once you determine your target audience, you will build out these pillars, right? And then under there, you could have even further sub-pillars. And I'll get into this a little bit more, but shortly. But, there's a variety of ways to look for keywords. I like to say success leaves clues. So take a look at some of the more successful businesses that you would consider your competition. Take a look at their website, find out what they're doing. If they have a good SEO team, chances are they've built out each landing page on their website for each content pillar, which essentially is like each service, right? So I'll give you an example. I'm building a website right now for a cleaning company. And that is the primary pillar, is cleaning. But below that, they have commercial, industrial, and residential. Those are the primary, secondary pillars. And below that, for example, under residential, they have a page for carpet cleaning, they have a page for upholstery cleaning, and a page for home cleaning, right? And you want an individual page for all of the most important pillars of content that you have. So, once you have these keywords and phrases that you want to rank for, you can use a variety of tools like, for example, Google Keyword Planner. So if you Google Keyword Planner, land on Google Keyword Planner page, and you have your primary and secondary keywords, you can punch it into there, and it'll give you a whole what we call a cluster of keywords that surround that. So on these pages, you want to take those keywords and you want to make sure you have them on each of your pillar landing pages. So for example, if you have a landing page for commercial and industrial pruning, you want to go to Google's keyword planner and determine or build out your keyword cluster from there. And that's not, the Google Keyword Planner isn't the only software. You can use Ahrefs. My favorite is a program called Surfer SEO, which I'm certified in. So there's a variety of different pieces of software you can use to better develop your keyword pillar content and clusters. You know, the other thing you can use as well is Google Trends. I love using Google Trends because, you know, you can type in certain keywords, certain services in Google Trends, and it will tell you in the last 4 hours, in the last 4 days, in the last 4 weeks, in the last 5 years, since 2002, through a chart, how many people in whatever geographic area you have designated are doing those Google searches, right? So if you're in an area of town and not a lot of people are doing searches for baked goods, then perhaps there isn't a lot of demand in that, right? So again, these are just a variety of tools. Now, once you have your keywords in place, you have your topic clusters, you have your pillars, then you want to start creating effective content, right? You want to build your landing page around those. You want to build blogs around those. And when it comes to blog strategy, I usually like to recommend a minimum of 16 blogs. You want to have your primary pillar. Typically, most businesses have at least 4 sub-pillars, and each of those 4 sub-pillars should have 4 blogs. And these blogs will not only demonstrate your authority and deep wealth of knowledge in the industry, but you can use these almost as advertorials while being informative as well. And from an SEO perspective, you can pack a lot of information in there that helps you get found on Google, such as locations, and all your variety of keywords as well, right? And I'll talk about SEO shortly. So you want to structure all this through pillars and clusters. And again, going back to the example of baking is the primary pillar. Below that, you might have a pillar for breads, right? And then you put all of your information that your potential buyers want for there. Another pillar could, for example, be commercial baking, and you put all your details for coffee shops, for event planners, et cetera, et cetera. And these are what we call landing pages, right? So now that you're catering to your exact audience, you're using keywords necessary to attract them, and you have the landing pages dedicated to each one, which then brings you to the realm of SEO, which is very much tied in with content strategy. So I talked a little bit about the nuts and bolts about content strategy. So strong content strategy, as I had mentioned, starts by identifying the target audience and what valuable information they need, right? You can't just put content and blogs on your site. A great way to find out what to write about is type in the keywords you want and see what pops up. Google has frequently asked questions. If you take that exact text just as it says and include those questions on your blog, it's going to tell Google that you're a bit of an authority on the site, on the topic, and that you have an answer to that question. And it's going to be just one other thing that's going to help you help Google deliver your landing page to search results from your prospective clients when they go online and start searching for your product or service. Now, there's a lot of AI tools to analyze competitor content performance, as I mentioned earlier, and search volume as well, obviously. So these are all recommendations that we offer to our clients before getting into SEO. Absolutely. Content and SEO are intertwined, where on-page SEO focuses on optimizing individual web pages for search engine. It includes optimizing content for relative keywords, meta tags, and headings, which I will get into shortly. Off-page SEO, on the other hand, deals with building authority through external factors like backlinks. High-quality content is really essential for attracting backlinks as an authoritative website, and they're more likely to link to valuable content, right? AI plays a big role in SEO, helping analyze vast amounts of data to identify keywords, trends, and assets, and assess backlink quality. Now, more specifically, I like to call SEO the art and science of ranking for search engines. Now, let's talk about Google, because Google owns the grand majority of search, but that's changing with AI and Bing. But for now, I'll talk a little bit about Google. Now, Google uses what they call 200 different signals in order to determine who they deliver as search result when you type in a query, right? Now, these signals are a variety of things. If you're a business without a Google business listing, it's very unlikely that Google will deliver you as a result. So one of the signals when you type in bakery near me, Google is going to search through all the data to determine if there's a Google business listing, because people trust Google business listings, and that's a very good information for the user. It's going to look at a variety of other things. It's already crawled your website, and it's going to determine if your website is structurally sound, because their algorithm uses something called schema, which I'll get into, to translate what's on the web page into what I'll call computer speak, also known as NLP, natural language processing. So there's all these different potential signals, and I could go on and on as to all the variety of different things that Google looks at, and I'll probably touch upon some more of them. And some of them, for example, are on-page SEO. So I'll briefly explain on-page SEO. So when you do a Google search, you will often see the name of the website, and below that, there's a sentence or two of a description. That's what we call a meta description, and that is what you add to the back end of the website, and that tells Google what the website is about, and it needs to be linked to the domain name. They have to relate to each other most of the time, right? So that's another one of the signals. And then there's things like alt text. Every time there's a photo on the website, there's a little box that you have to add beside it when you're building the website that describes in literal terms what that is. So if you're on a bakery site, for example, and there's a picture of someone eating a muffin, then it's just going to say woman eating a blueberry muffin, right? Again, one of many signals for on-page SEO. And we use something called schema. What's schema is a set of principles that web developers and marketers like myself use to translate what's on the page into a language that Google can use. So for example, it uses something called headings, H1, H2, H3. So if you have a landing page and it is for, let's say, residential cleaning, on the back end, you have to specify it is what we call an H1 heading, and we have to specify that. So the heading of that page will be residential cleaning. Now, right below that, it's going to talk about carpet upholstery. That's the next headline. We assess that as H2, and then we put content below describing it with keywords. Below that, there may be another subheading under carpet cleaning that talks about perhaps the types of process they use, environmentally friendly chemicals, and there may be a subheadline. Well, that would be an H3. And what that says, H2 relates to H3, relates to H1, which is the heading of the page. And I may be getting into the weeds a little bit more technical, but this is how Google understands what you're trying to tell it. And this is how it processes it, right? So that is a little bit about on page. I'll talk about off page. So everyone knows backlinks. You have social media pages, you post your website on there, it links back to the website. Eventually you probably want to have hundreds over the course of time. Now, what type of links do you want to link back from is incredibly important. There was a time when it didn't really matter, but a couple of years ago, Google made a change, and now the types of backlinks that you want to link back from have to be authoritative. So again, looking at, say, the perspective of an online bakery. Perhaps they're a member of a bakery, a big international bakery association that gets, millions of hits. By joining that association, having that link on there, that being an authoritative site, linking back to your website, that's going to tell Google, okay, this is a real business, a real bakery. You may have contract with your city to provide them with baked goods, and they've agreed to put your link on their website. And again, just an example off the top of my head, these are potentially authoritative websites. If you want a baking contest, there was a big national baking contest, and the site gets tons and tons of web visitors, and you link back from there. So this is an example of what we call off-page SEO, and it's all of these things that Google's algorithm determines if your website is worthy to be on that illustrious page one, because we don't want to be anywhere other than page one. Let me ask you this, Tabrez. When was the last time you did a Google search and even bothered to check page two?
Never. I don't remember checking page number 2.
That's right. Exactly. We have a joke in SEO that we like to say, and the joke is, where's the best place to hide a body? Well, probably on page 2 of Google. Why? Because nobody ever goes there, right?
Right.
So, when people go online, you also have to understand what I call search intent, right? When you're putting together your SEO and your schema and all this stuff, what are people really searching for, right? And this is a big part of keywords, right? So people do 4 types of searches: informational, navigational, commercial, and transactional. So informational, exactly what it is. It's when you're looking just for information. Navigational is when you're looking for a specific website. For example, you type in the words bakery near me, right? You're looking for a website for a local bakery. And then there's commercial. And this is really has to do with research. You're not looking to buy now, but probably in the future, like when you're doing research on an automobile or a house or something like that, right? And then you have transactional. You're looking to buy something online. Now, when you type in these keywords to Google, if your company has strong SEO, then Google will deliver these results as part of your search results. So now that we know a little bit about how SEO works, let's talk a little bit about how content fits in. So for example, if you're an event planner and your intent is to find a supplier of baked goods in your event, then you're likely going to search baked goods or bakery near me or something like that. And this is what we call a local search or a near me search. Any of my clients that are local businesses, typically brick and mortar, we like to include on every single page their service areas. So at the bottom of every page, in really small letters, I will list every municipality, city, township that they service. And by having it there, that's really, really going to help with what we call near me searches, right? For example, if you're in Toronto and you want, and you're a brick and mortar in a suburb of Toronto, I don't know, let's say Greektown or something like that, you can start writing blogs about that area and landmarks and how it relates to your business. And over time, people will discover it through Google searches, right? This is why content and writing blogs and having effective SEO on your landing pages is incredibly important, right? By showing their content, updating your website on a weekly basis, because Google favors websites that are updated on a regular basis. Again, one of those 200 signals I talked about before. If you don't update your website, chances are it's rare that you will appear on page 1. Now, that being said, I have a client who is a farm dealership. We built their website about 3 years ago with just what I call bulletproof SEO, just because of the very specifics of the parts and the machinery that they sell. 3-4 years later, we haven't done a single update to it, but yet they still appear on page 1 of Google for so many different keywords. And that's because when we built the site, we built it from the ground up, doing it properly with those specific brands, parts, and pieces of machinery. And it worked out great. I don't recommend not updating a website, because you could always do more and you could always drive more traffic as well. So again, like I was saying, by showcasing your content, updating your website weekly, and using schema markup to tell Google what your site is about, that's what you want to do. That's a great question. There's so many different social media platforms out these days. We have a specialty in Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram. We're very familiar with all the other social media platforms. We've written a variety of long-form blogs on TikTok, but these are the ones we kind of narrow and focus on, at least for our agency. So, social media marketing involves creating and sharing content on these platforms, obviously. And the goal is to achieve your marketing and branding goals. When we put together a content marketing calendar for social media, beside each post in our spreadsheet, which is how we lay it out, there's a column and it says, what is the intent of or goal of the post? Sometimes it's goodwill, sometimes it's to drive traffic, sometimes it's for conversion. There's a whole variety of reasons, but we should never put up a post for the sake of putting up a post. Every post should always have a reason, right? And this includes posting text, images, videos, and content that really drives audience engagement. I see so many companies, they spend money on doing social media. Oftentimes they will have, for example, their admin person do social media, who loves doing social media personally, but has never done it commercially and maybe understands it a little bit. They forget things like almost every or most of your posts should have a call to action. And like I was saying before, posts should have a reason. And all of your posts need to form a strategy, which is one of the reasons why we pre-program a lot of our posts 30 days in advance and then supplement it as we go along and course correct as we need to, right? So including these posts, these texts, these updates, these videos, you can do all of that, but the whole point I'm getting at here is if you're not engaging your audience. Again, I see this all the time. Every day they're putting up these great posts and who knows how long it's taking them to do it, but no one is engaging. So essentially you're paying someone to not do a lot for you. So engagement is the absolute key. And artificial intelligence helps analyze social media these days. So it's very important to be on top of it. Great question. As you know, everything is AI these days. It used to take me hours and hours and hours to craft really good messages and to put all the emojis in. So what I do now is I send it to AI and then I will, edit it afterwards. And this saves a huge amount of time from a content programming perspective, right? AI has completely transformed social media. Now, AI also analyzes user behavior on behalf of the social media platform to optimize, let's say, ad targeting, making sure that your content reaches the right audience. AI-powered chatbots provide instant responses to user inquiries and enhancing customer engagement as well. Now, moreover, AI algorithms are what identify trends in popular content, helping you create even more engaging posts. It's a really, really powerful tool for automating routine tasks and ensuring your social media strategies absolutely stay on track. This is an area I absolutely love, and I've read so much about it over the years, and we're just starting to get on it now. And this is called social listening, where artificial intelligence will monitor social conversations at scale, and they spot opportunities and risks, right? So you can have software that scans social media platforms before you program it to punch in the keywords you're looking for to identify opportunities and conversations, and then it scans social media platforms, tells you what the conversations are happening, essentially in real time, and then allows you to chirp in on those conversations throughout, right? So it also assists with optimizing paid social campaigns by dynamically adjusting targeting and creatives based on performance data, right? It's absolutely fantastic. So, and then we got automated chatbots I've already talked about that handle customer service. So, and it allows humans to focus on relationship building while the chatbots do the heavy lifting and really narrow down the problems that any potential users are having prior to reaching a human when it comes to customer service. Yeah, a great question. So we talked a lot about organic programming, and with organic programming, there's so many other tools that you can use as well, like polls and a variety of other tools that they can use to engage in your user. But there's also social media marketing, and this is things like buying advertising. You can buy advertising for a whole variety of different reasons, right? If you want to drive traffic to your website, there's a separate algorithm for that. If you want to engage your audience, there's a separate algorithm for that. If you want to get leads and convert leads, you can do that. If you want to create awareness, for example, if you have an event or a live event and you want to create awareness for that, you can do an awareness campaign. So there's all these different potential options above and beyond social media programming, as everyone knows, and each of these have its own algorithm and uses AI to get you the top results that you want. But I do have to stress that if you do choose to do social media paid marketing, that you really need someone who knows what they're doing, particularly when it comes to Meta. It's not the easiest to set up the business manager and the ad manager. So I definitely recommend partnering with someone who's familiar with it or certified in it. So I spent the first 15 years of my career, seems like a lifetime ago now, but the first 15 years of my career in sales. And I was a relationship builder. I did relationship-based selling. I have a great skills to build rapport literally within, the first 30 seconds of meeting somebody. And I always firmly believe that relationship building is the best way to do things, again, depending on your industry and the type of sales you're doing. So what automated email marketing does is by developing an automated e-marketing campaign, it allows you to send out emails to your subscribers automatically based on certain triggers and schedules. So when you use programs, marketing programs like Pardot, ActiveCampaign, and Salesforce, what it does is it takes your subscriber list and you take code and you put it on a variety of landing pages on your website. So let's say, for example, take my marketing company. I send an initial welcome email out to my subscriber list, and it says, hey, here is what we do. Here's a list of my services. One is social media, one is SEO, one is web development, one is corporate communications and publicity, and I'll include those links on. Well, if they click one of those links, let's say they click a link for web development, they go onto my website, they read about web development. Through these automated software marketing programs, it's going to tell the program, it's going to create a trigger and say they landed on my web. So what that means is I can set these programs so that way, say in 2 days, it's going to send another little email, just a very basic one from me, the president of the company, that says, hi, Samantha. Did you know that websites, and then we maybe include like a little statistic that says websites get more traffic by doing this. And we keep it short, we keep it simple. We want to pique their interest, and it may lead to a blog about websites, development, stuff like that, right? So if she clicks on that, I can go on and see how long people are reading my blog to determine how interested they are. And that might trigger another email to go out 2 or 3 days later or a week later that says, by the way, we have this guide on how to optimize your website and how to choose the best company for your web project. Why don't you download it? And I want to take a second to talk about lead magnets, because if you don't know what lead magnet is, it's a highly valuable source for your target audience. And they typically download it as they come closer to the stage of buying. So I create digital funnels for conversion for my clients. So what a digital funnel is, and forgive me if I'm going off topic a little bit, if you imagine a funnel like this, right? And I'm sure a lot of our listeners already know this, but you put all as web visitors come to your site, you want to catch them in the funnel. So people who are just going there the first time, you're gonna have some content at the top of the funnel. Again, for a marketing site like mine, it would be people who are just starting to consider maybe hiring a marketing company. So you have some lighter material, some blogs about considering hiring a marketing company or considering hiring a web developer. And these are people at the top of the funnel who are just making an interest or just expressing their interest. And what you want to do through these automated marketing campaigns, because they're landing on your site, it's triggering other emails to them. What's going to happen is going to what we call driving deeper into the funnel. We create content based on top, middle, and bottom of the funnel. People in the middle of the funnel are more invested, and obviously the people at the bottom of the funnel are highly invested. They may have gone to your social media webpage, they may have downloaded something, heck, they may have even picked up a phone and given you a call, right? And what this automated marketing campaign does, and you pre-program it all in advance, so one action triggers another action, triggers another action, triggers another action, and this drives them all down into the funnel. So, and a lot of it is powered by AI, right? It enhances the process by predicting optimal times to send these. Sometimes it'll personalize the content for you as well. So it really nurtures the lead, which is what I used to do when I was a sales guy way back when. And what is the job of salespeople? You know, so if you're a solopreneur or you have a small team and you're looking to increase your leads, this is a great way to do it if you haven't done it yet, and it's very, very cost effective. But again, you need it's not something that you can do on your own. You need somebody who knows how to do all of this. A little bit about my background. At one point in a past life, I had created 4 vertically integrated companies in the music industry. One of those companies alone owned 3 recording studios, 2 in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada's 9th largest market, and 1 in Toronto. And in order for me to do that, I had to become and learn how to become incredibly organized. We had a staff of 17. We had various divisions. And, you know, back in that lifetime, there weren't nearly as many tools as are available now. I love working in current times with the technology available that I couldn't even fathom before. So I'll talk a little bit about AI. So since using AI, I started using AI maybe about 8 months ago, 9 months ago, as an expert in content marketing. You know, companies used to pay me, you know, $50 an hour plus to write 1,500, 2,000 word blogs or 2,500 word ebooks. You know, 2,500 word ebook would take me anywhere from 15 to 20 hours, and that includes all the relevant research, the citations, everything that you need to know, the link backs. Now I can probably do that same one in about 4 hours with the help of AI, because it does so much of the research. Now, that being said, never rely entirely on AI. I think anyone in business nowadays knows that everything has to be checked. And that's what people like myself do, but it's a massive time sink, right? So for writing and research, AI is a great tool. There's so many other tools to help manage tasks, facilitate communication, and keep everyone on the same page, right? You can use Asana or Monday.com, any one of these project managers. While a bit timely to set up, are thoroughly developed for optimizing productivity, workflow, and efficiency. Now, personally, I've used all of them, and they're great, particularly when you have big teams, right? Asana, Slack, Basecamp, these are all great. If you have a small team like myself, honestly, I like to use spreadsheet workbooks for tracking productivity and planning. Between Microsoft Excel and Google Sheets, you can create such a powerful workbook. What we do oftentimes in our Google Sheets, when we create workbooks for clients, let's say, for example, we're doing a social media calendar. The first page is the table of contents. The second page is what we call our pillar content, right? And then our third page onward would be, say, for example, September, October, November, and those would be the actual content. And they all the pages link back and forth to each other for easy navigation. And now you're creating this content calendar. And it doesn't just have to be a content calendar. It could be for project management or whatnot, which is just really easy to use. I'll give you a quick example. I was hired by a company called thedemoforum.com, and I worked for them for about 8 months over the period of the last year as their director of demand generation and marketing. And they were a startup, and they needed so much organizational structure. And when I joined them, they had about 30 clients. But they didn't have a client list. They didn't have any process whatsoever for account management, and they didn't even really have an account manager. So one of the first things I did was I created this massive, robust Google Sheets workbook, 1 page for every client, and it was just filled with so much data. It linked to various briefs that I had created as part of their package of services that we sold to them, and it really just had everything you needed. And it was so robust and convenient and easy to navigate. So, when it comes to productivity tools, particularly for small to medium-sized enterprises, using Excel or Google Sheets is really, really good, right? And AI can assist a lot when it comes to project management, forecasting, data analysis, but that's for another topic. So, I'm a little bit of an organizational expert. I've had the experience over the last 20 plus years and seeing the evolution. And, again, going back to a lot of these programs, sometimes it's more efficient to use something like an Excel workbook. So, these are all topics I can talk about forever, Tebrez. As you can tell, I love talking about this stuff, and I can go on and on forever, but for now, I'll leave it at that.